last words were not to call me, not have contact with me, and I never wanted to see her again.
It was shock. That was the worst Mother's Day I'd had.
It's basically made my life fall apart. I let it sort of get on top of me and just destroy everything, yeah.
The Trussells are one big, happy family. There's Dad, Barry Trussell, wife Leanne, the boys, Anthony, Hamish, TJ and Wade, and of course the girls, Melissa and her little sister, Kayla.
She was like my idol. Being so young, I used to follow her everywhere when I could, and we were completely inseparable. She was just happy and always having fun and always smiling. I absolutely adored her. She was like everything to me when I was little.
Oh, it was great, yeah. Yeah, we had a big family, there was 6 kids. And it's just marvellous how many people you can fit into a Falcon station wagon.
All in all, one big, happy family. But at the age of 13, Melissa decided she wanted to go to high school here in Adelaide and to be with her biological mum, Rosemary. Melissa's dad, Barry, did not want her to go. He had an argument with his strong-willed daughter.
I wasn't too impressed with her wanting to come to Adelaide and be up here with her mum after the previous mishaps with her mum and what had gone on. And my last words pretty harshly were not to call me, not have contact with me, and I never wanted to see her again. Words which I think of every day.
Do you regret saying those words?
Every day. I get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and just regret what I said. And I got no way of taking it back. And like I said, I regret it every day of my life.
Melissa went to school and lived with her biological mum, Rosemary Brown, for a couple of years. Quite coincidentally, they appeared on television after a siege at a caravan park where they were then staying. It was March 2000. These are the last known pictures of the two women. Just a couple of months later, on May 13, Rosemary and Melissa were seen leaving a caravan parked in a friend's driveway in a northern Adelaide suburb. It was 2:30 a.m.
The last person to see them was an associate of Rosemary's. This particular person owned a caravan that Melissa and Rosemary had been staying in at that time at the address. They had been living in the caravan with this particular person.
It begs the question, where on earth were they going at that time of the morning? Had they had a fight? Were they going to meet someone? 13 years down the track, those questions and a lot more remain unanswered.
It was shock. Like Barry got the phone call. That was the worst Mother's Day I'd had, because it was Mother's Day 2000 that she disappeared.
As it turned out, Rosemary's handbag had been found on the day she disappeared.
Some 10 days after it was found, a person watching the news saw a media release that the police had done in relation to the disappearance of both the women. She recognised that the names corresponded to the names of identification in the bag, and she contacted police.
With the discovery of the handbag, Major Crime Squad detectives joined the search for Rosemary and Melissa. 7 weeks after she disappeared, police discovered Rosemary's fate.
The remains, believed to be those of missing woman Rosemary Brown, were found in mangroves near Torrens Island last night. 2 11-year-old boys made the gruesome discovery. Police believe the body had been in water for over a month. It was recovered by water police.
Rosemary had been murdered. For operational reasons, police won't say how, but it appears she was driven here to Garden Island, an industrial area. Whether she was alive or dead at the time is unknown. So Campbell, this is where Rosemary's body was found. Where exactly was it?
So from where we are at Garden Island here, Neil, the car park behind us, about 100 metres into the mangroves, was where Rosemary's body was found.
Is it possible the body drifted in, or do you think she was placed there?
We think it's more likely that Rosemary was placed here. It's quite a remote location, so certainly for her to have walked here from where she was last seen, it's a distance of about 12 kilometres.
So someone has driven her into this spot?
We certainly suspect that based on those circumstances.
Despite an intensive search, there was no trace of Melissa.
I felt relieved in one way, but I felt upset in another. Relieved that she'd been found, thinking, yes, well, we're going to find Melissa as well, but we didn't.
There's a lot of scenarios that could be possible, and it could well be that Melissa may have been able to identify the killer of her mother, and therefore she was killed for that reason also. It may well be that she was a witness to the murder by strangers and may have been killed for that fact.
Melissa wouldn't have given a thought of herself. Would have tried to help her mum. And, you know, even if her mum had told her to run away or something like that, she wouldn't have. She would have stayed.
I Google her name just hoping that something comes up, hoping to find a photo or a girl that looks like me, to be able to see if she has a family, or, you know, just make sure that she's happy. Something that, you know, I would love to happen, but if it doesn't, then I'm not going to let that, you know, hold me down.
My heart tells me I'd love her to be alive, but common sense tells me after this amount of time, 13 years, that she has to be dead. In the end, it's basically made my life fall apart. I let it sort of get on top of me and just destroy everything, yeah. And now I find myself living in the same general area where they went missing, and most days I can see the island where Rose's body was washed up. And, you know, I've got to deal with that every day.
There have been several persons of interest to the investigation interviewed over time, some on more than one occasion, so we'd urge anyone with any information in relation to people that are involved in this matter, urban stories, rumours, myths, we'd urge them to pass them on to police, and we can make sure that we investigate it fully.
Somebody out there must know something, and I just pray to God that they'll come forward, like have the decency to come forward and pass on any information that can help at all. It's gone on far too long. I want closure. I want to know one way or the other what happened to my daughter. I hate things like that. And, you know, I want to get closure so I can get my life on track. Because it's slowly destroying me, sure as anything.